right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers. We're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. As you can tell, I'm not Fern. I am Joel, and I'm here with Ryan, Mimi in the house. Mike is on Zoom.
All right, Joel. Today's guest is the creative, business-savvy marketing director for the cut flower breeder Ball Hort, Carmen Marquez. Woo! Or Carmen Luke.
Carmen Luke. It's easier, more friendly.
I love it, yeah. Well, I'm Mimi, so yeah. I see you as Carmen Luke.
Yes.
Welcome, Carmen.
Why they are, welcome. Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're down Fern. We're down a fatty. So we'll do our best to fill in for him. But we had to bring in a fun guest to keep the energy up.
Good. Well, I can be the fatty today. I'm gaining a lot of weight right now here visiting my mom.
No, it's
giving me a lot of food.
It's a state of mind. It's not a weight thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's both.
Yeah.
If you're happy, you eat. So it's a state of mind.
Right.
I like it. Consider me a fatty.
Uh-huh.
Are you guys emotional eaters? I'm an emotional eater.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an emotional eater. Last night, I was at my parents' anniversary, and I got home after a couple of wines, and I just had a huge piece of cake before going to bed.
Yeah. Because you were happy. Congratulations to your parents. 50 years together. Wow. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So you guys partied.
Yes. On a Thursday night. Can you imagine that?
I used to have a very intimate relationship with Ben and Jerry when I was stressed.
What was your flavor?
Very intimate.
What was the go-to?
Chocolate with chocolate stuff in it. I forget what they call it, but it's all chocolate stuff in there.
Mm.
Yeah. And I liked it when it was like half melted.
Mm-hmm.
You should put some coconut and then you call it
bacanecchia. No mas, Ben and Jerry's. They are out of my life.
So is this like when you eat, like you're happy you eat, or when you're sad you eat?
Yeah, emotional. Like whatever your emotion is. Like there's a lot of people that I wish, like that if I was stressed that I wouldn't eat, like I would forget to eat. No, I'm the opposite. I'm like, oh my gosh. I just start popcorn and ice cream and whatever you got in front of me.
That's me too. That's me. Hard to control it.
It's true.
Wow.
It's a real problem. So you're normally based out of Colombia, right? But where are you right now?
Yes, I live in Bogota, and right now I'm in San Salvador. You know what that is? It's some country in Central America.
En El Salvador, no?
In El Salvador, in the middle of
Nice.
Central America. Yes. Very hot, very nice weather, though.
But she's
It's a
like,
nice change from Bogota.
but I complain
I was
sometimes.
reading it's one of the most safest countries now.
For right now, yes. They have put a lot of bad people away, and that's a good thing. But everything else, I don't know. Let's just leave it like that.
The president of Ecuador is modeling some prisons after
After my president.
your president's ideas. Yeah.
Yes. Very, very, totally, I don't know, very disruptive ways of controlling everything.
Yep. Well,
Sometimes you
that's
gotta-
good stuff because
Yeah.
tourism's a big deal in Central America, and that'll help.
Hopefully, yes. We feel safe.
Are there any flowers, commercial flower farms that you know of?
In
In
El
that area?
Salvador, very small farms, mostly for like sunflowers or tropical flowers. But if you go to
Not for export. Everything's for domestic consumption or neighboring countries. by truck.
exactly, but
Okay.
very small production. The biggest farms they are in Guatemala, right next to it, 3 hours away, and
Yeah.
they export everything that we get from El Salvador to El Salvador is from Guatemala and actually from Ecuador. I took one of our clients down in Ecuador to Florsani. I'm like, hey, I need some flowers for my parents because I'm so used to all these beautiful flowers. And I cannot believe that I work with flowers and I cannot have the best flowers. So I got like tons of roses and gyps and a bunch of other things. And everybody was just wow with the flowers I brought in. So that's the perks of knowing our flower farmers and have
That's right.
the exporter and the importers in your contact list, just on a speed dial. So I have Ecuadorian roses and gyps here last night.
How long have you been working for Ball?
For 5 years. I
5
started
years.
in 2019, at the beginning of February, it was a total change for me because
Wait.
I was coming from what?
Where were you coming from before?
Consumer goods. I used to work for UniLever.
Oh, nice.
I feel like it's been
And
longer than
I
2019.
feel like that's what I'm saying. I'm like, no
That
way.
feels so
I feel like
short.
I've known Carmen forever.
Yeah.
it's just because you guys see me at every single show. You
Well,
can't miss me.
I feel like Carmen is truly a flower because she travels around the world all the time. She's constantly traveling.
Where in
Yes.
the world
Is Carmen.
Listen, the flower growers, the flower wholesalers, the flower importers, they're not the only ones faced with tough competition. The breeders as well are faced with very tough competition. And if you ask me, I'd say they are investing very heavily in their marketing and their position and all the things that they do to capture that customer for themselves, because the breeders have a way harder job.
Absolutely. That's what breeding takes years for a flower to come to the market. We could easily just stay with the old varieties, but then after a certain amount of years, those patents go away and then everybody else can start growing them. So we got to keep rolling and finding that variety so that we can start selling it with our own rights. And like Mike was saying, tons of breeders. Doom and Selecta, Dassinger, Ball, I don't know, a lot of chrysanthemum breeders. From how many flowers? We choose about a year, about 2,000 different variety selections, and only one or two make it to the market that year.
Wow.
And we gotta go to those big growers, to the Ecuadorian growers, to the Colombian growers. Hey, here's my flower. Give me 2 hectares,
Right.
so that you can planting them. And they're like, oh, but I don't know if my customer is gonna like it. How am I gonna stop producing the roses to give you 1 hectare? And we don't even know if it's gonna be a productive variety or not a productive variety, or if the supermarket wants it or if the florist wants it. So that's where I come in. So I'm gonna try to prove my clients that that variety does have a potential. So I go and show them to different florists. That's what I did with you guys last week, that I asked Mimi for flowers so that Amy Balsters was doing a workshop with her florist who signed up for her workshop. And I was like, Amy, use my varieties, please, and then let me know if they liked it or not. And then that gives me feedback to go back to the growers and say, hey, you know what? Florists liked it. Albertsons liked it. Jet Fresh liked it.
Yeah.
And the importers liked it. Or on the other hand, then I go to my R&D people and, hey, you know what? That flower didn't travel well. It was all burned because of the cold. It did not last more than 2 days. And that's the reason why I go. I take pictures every day and send it back to R&D. Hey, you got to do something with post-harvest. That's not working.
Right.
We got to change the recipe, or let's put it in a sleeve, or let's send them wet pack or dry pack, or let's not keep it in cold. Whatever we need to prove.
For you, it doesn't just end at, oh, they have it in there, they have it available. For you, you have to make sure that it's available, it's successful, the consumer wants it. But wait, go back to UniLever. Yeah, like
But
we need to.
actually, real quick before we go backwards, I'm curious how new is marketing from the breeder side to the consumer? Is that relatively new, or is that being done since breeders forever? Or
I don't know if it was done for forever, but I do have heard from Joaquin, who is the manager partner for Ball SB, that they started doing the visiting supermarkets themselves and participating at the big shows, because before it was only growers.
Right.
So they're like, well, why are breeders here? They don't sell to anyone. And that's what I heard, that he was the first one who started doing it, and then everybody else started doing it as well. So I don't know the truth.
Cool.
And I do, from my side, I did start doing a lot with influencers. Like I work with Sarah Campbell,
Yeah.
I work with Hope Chapel, I work with Amy, I work with a lot of different florists, because how many followers do they have?
Yeah.
Tons.
They have a reach.
If I can
They have an opinion. They have
Exactly.
a fan base. Yeah. Absolutely. We agree with that. We're here on the same page. So sorry, go ahead, Mimi.
No, I'm just interested in, hold on, go back, way back. UniLever. So you started you were working at UniLever before you came into the floral industry doing consumer goods. And as we
Isn't
know,
that like the soap and stuff?
yeah, well, everything. UniLever sells everything under. I mean,
Okay.
Carmen, how many products can you say like that you could think of on your top of your head?
You have a shampoo, you have conditioner, you have deodorants, you have ice cream. I was the marketing manager for ice cream in Colombia and Ecuador and Venezuela.
No
Oh,
wonder
it's
she
too bad
knows.
you
the
didn't
most-
come to our building with the ice cream truck.
What's the most
And
popular
we had
variety
an
of,
ice cream
of
truck.
ice cream in Ecuador or Colombia? What's the most popular flavor?
Magnum. It's a
Oh, the
we know what
chocolate
it
one.
is.
Yeah.
with
those
the
are-
That's your mother's
chocolate
favorite,
Belgian
right?
Yeah, those are
color,
good.
with chocolate. Oh, it was. And you know what was the best part? That we did a lot of the R&D at our factory. So I had to taste every single lollipop. And I was like, this is delicious. And like, Carmen, that's out of our target cost. I'm like, well, we'll sell it. It's more expensive.
yeah, we need this. That's a
Wait,
good
no,
so
job.
but-
wait, let's go around. My
Chocolate.
favorite is chocolate, dark chocolate with anything with, and if it has like chips or like coconut in it, then that's my favorite. What's your favorite ice cream?
I like cookies and cream or some kind of like crunch.
Yeah, Joelle.
Plain chocolate.
Chocolate. Mike.
Oh, my Rocky Road.
Rocky Road, nice.
Nope.
Chocolate with whatever chocolate crap you could throw in there. That's what I like, as long as it's frozen.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I was also with the face cream with Ponds. It's a very
Oh yeah.
South American face cream.
Hmm.
So I did a lot. And margarines. Like, I can't believe it's not butter.
That's funny.
So I moved through a lot of categories.
And ivory soap, right? Ivory soap.
Every soap. I had ivory soap too and Dove.
So did you like the transition?
So it was like working with like 5 different companies. So I was already down in Colombia. That's why I moved from San Salvador to Colombia because they reallocate me to Colombia back, 2010. And I don't know, for so many years I was happy, but then they switched from ice cream to margarines, and I didn't get to taste the ice cream anymore. And I didn't want to eat it. It was a lot of grease.
I get that. I would do the same.
So I was like, no, let me do my own thing. So I started my own business. I opened some restaurants, like a Panera Bread.
Oh.
And then being independent is very harsh, very, very harsh. So one of my very good friends that used to work in UniLever, she also started working for Azocol Flores. She was the marketing communications manager for Azocol Flores. And she asked me, hey, you know what? At Ball, they're looking for somebody in marketing who has experience in consumer goods because they want to do things different and go directly to consumers and start promoting. And I know you have the best skills. I'm like, okay, and let me talk to them. And they talked to me. And right 2 months later, I was already working with them.
Wow. That was a perfect scenario.
Yes, it was fun. It was fun. And I really love it. It's got a purpose. Flowers do make everybody happy. So that was my transition. Very interesting.
And that was 5 years ago. So now we're
That was 5 years ago. Well, my mom just brought me some of those flowers that we had last night from Ecuador.
Oh, those are nice. I love yellow. Yellow is such a strong color for me. And it means it's so
Yes.
powerful and meaning. Like, I don't know, it just makes me feel happy. So now you've been with Ball for 5 years, and we see you at every show,
oh yeah.
but you're going to shows everywhere and you're traveling all the time, right?
Yes. Well, my second semester agenda, it's a lot of traveling. Right next week, going to SAF. 2 weeks after, I'm going to the HEB show in Texas.
Texas, yeah.
Then we have a trial station also in Kenya for our farmer growers in Kenya that export mostly to the auction in Alsmeer or in the Netherlands and to Europe and England. So I'm gonna go do open days, our trial station in Kenya at the
Wow.
end of September. Mm-hmm.
Have you done that trip yet?
No, it's my first time. So I'm booking a flight 3 days earlier so I can go meet my giraffes and
Yeah, I was
elephants.
gonna say you have to make sure you do that.
Yes. So I'm doing it by myself because everybody else has already gone. So I'm like, okay, I don't care. I'll do it by myself.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
I was supposed to go in June, but we had some other things come up that I couldn't travel. But
Well,
I'm
come
going
along
next
with
year.
me. You
Next
can
year
go
I'm going.
Yeah, you should go
Next
for open
June.
days in September, Mike.
September,
No, I want to go to the trade fair.
Oh.
I like when everybody's in one room.
And then you have Chrysanthemum Week, no?
No, we pull out of chrysanthemums. We don't do
Oh.
chrysanthemums. No. So that's one less thing that you're not
Competition is fierce.
too much. So we're gonna concentrate where we're good, not moms.
So give our listeners an example. What are
It's
your focus?
crazy, Ryan. It's crazy. I'll walk down the road here, and we have wild. It grows wild. It must have started with material from the side of the road, and the breeders made them stronger and made them have vase life and bred them to be for cut flower. But you walk down the side of the road here, and I was laughing this morning because I actually look like a bouquet. I have Queen Anne lace. I have gomphrenas. I have veronicas. I have blue aster. I have solidago. I have what? Wild sweet peas. We have all this stuff that you guys have bred to be cut flower, to have long vase life. Like if I cut this stuff on the side of the road, it'll die in one day.
Right.
But it was born on the side of the road.
Mike, and
It's
that's
crazy.
what we do. Our slogan is from your garden to your home. So
It's
one of
crazy
the benefits,
how you do that.
yes, one of the benefits of having breeders from pot garden and the potting plant is that they're like, oh, I think that flower has potential because it's growing about 50 or 60 centimeters. So our breeders just take it and start doing their thing, and we start doing trials, and that's the reason you see a lot of different varieties with ball. The Ageratum, remember the purple one that I took
Yes.
the flower truck? That's a garden flower. That's a garden flower that they saw the potential and they started doing their breeding and to have it longer so they can have the 50 or 60s at least, and then see if it travels, if it doesn't get burned, and after that it's a commercial variety. Not yet though, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Just like Mike said, the marigolds are also from pots.
Yep.
The Dianthus, like the sweets and Amazon, they're also from pots. And
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Is it easier or harder to develop a cut flower from pots?
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard
Is it-
because Mhm.
Is the new from Ball that people are growing? It looks like Cineraria. Is that a Ball?
No.
All this new shit, man. It's so cool. So much.
Don't be plugging other breeders.
Yeah, where this is a ball episode.
We could beep it out. We could beep it
No,
out.
I'm kidding.
I'm gonna have a cool stuff at the SAF next week, so make sure
Give us
that
a
we can
preview. Tell us what's next, what's hot, what's good.
what's next, what's hot, what's good. Echinaceas.
Oh,
Have you seen
I love
an
echinaceas. Yeah.
Echinacea, it's the next Escabiosa, but harder, and I won't say prettier because I won't talk bad about my competitors, but prettier.
We can say it. We'll say it
Yeah.
for you.
Okay. And so
What about this like there's Scabiosa and there's Scabiosa pods? Is that something that comes from the Scabiosa, or is that something that's separate and is bred specifically to be a pod?
no clue because it's not my crop. No clue.
Oh, 2 for 2.
Come on, Mike. I should have sent you the list of the
I
flowers.
suck.
I forgot.
Yeah.
It's such a big
Well, just
list.
look in your
you know?
Yeah,
chest.
it's such
She
a
has
big list.
really nice new Delphinium we saw.
Oh yes, absolutely.
The white one. What's the white one called that's coming?
It's called the Guardian. The Delphinium Guardian is very popular, but the one that you saw was the Serene Lavender that had a very tight florets and the spike was very thick and very very sturdy. That one is going to the competition actually, to the SAF competition. So
So
if you're the please, Georgia.
Oh, definitely. For the listeners who don't know, Carmen actually showed up to our parking lot in a big truck filled with flowers as part. What was that called? What did you guys call that?
the flower truck tour.
The flower
Miami.
truck tour, That was great. It was a great little thing. You showed up. It was a nice little, like a little tricked out little camper kind of scenario. And you had a fun little presentation. You showed off all the new products, what's new, what's coming.
It's like a food truck that serves flowers.
Yeah.
It's even better. It's like an ice cream truck.
Yeah, and you could walk inside and you could play with the flowers, or she could open a big door on the side and just like have she talked to everybody and showed everybody the flowers while she was inside the truck, which is really cool. And everybody was like the audience outside.
When we shared that,
and she went to all around Miami, the different flower companies doing the same thing. It's great.
Yes, we visited 15 different companies in Miami in 3 days.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun because that's the perfect way of visiting everyone and having everyone see the flowers, not just the commercial, the marketing people, but we had quality, we had suppliers, we have stores. Everybody will get the same thing that they see at the show where we usually are at, but they get to see it at their own parking lot. So we don't take anybody's time, but like 20 or 30 minutes, whatever time you have.
Yeah,
we will be doing appointments, but then at the end, we were just starting and visiting everybody. And we're like, hey, I'm here. We went to Passion and I called Marcus. Marcus, we're outside at your parking lot. Are you at the office? He's like, yeah. And so he got out.
Yeah.
That's great.
We're going to put here. We're going to put music next year so that they know we're there. Like the music with their eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. You might have a new location to visit, but yes. So you were telling us about how fun you did that campaign during COVID as well. You did it in Colombia.
That's how it started. Yes.
So share that story because I love that story. That's a good one.
So 2020, everything was shut down. If nobody wanted to come to the fields because we were all scared that we were going to get COVID. But we as breeders, we cannot stop breeding or showing our varieties. Everybody else could continue growing their commercial things, right? But we live off varieties, of new varieties, and we need them to do trials because if not, it keeps us 2 or 3 years behind in our agendas, our breeding agenda. So we're like, if they don't come to us, why don't we go to them? So at the beginning, everybody was like, no, that is not going to work. The flowers are going to move. All the vases are going to go down. The farms are open road, so it's going to be very different to go from farm A to farm B. So we're like, let's do a try. Let's do a try. So we had a 2-ton truck. It was huge. It wasn't nothing like this one. I'm going to send you a video later. It was a huge truck. It was all AC. So at least all the flowers were kept in the AC and fresh, and we made it late to every single appointment because we could not go faster than like 40 or 50 miles an hour. So because otherwise it will start moving.
Roads are not really set up.
The roads,
mountains.
So and then we had a lot of fun because they will be putting us in the football team, for instance, but the grass was wet. And with a 2-ton truck going into the football field, we got stuck. So they had to send one of their own trucks to get us out of there because we were stuck. But it was fun. Everybody was out. We visited like 10 farms in 4 days, and that was more challenging. Yeah. But we learned make it easier, and we then thought, hey, if we can do this in farms, why don't we do it in Miami? And that's how we started. We need to do it in Ecuador, though.
Yeah,
we still are going.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also go cross country. You have to go cross country. Do it like a whole.
Let's do it together.
It's country.
A lot of fun. Mm-hmm.
We gotta get like a party bus, like a really big bus.
Well, maybe we have the truck at Fresh Fest 2025.
Fresh Fest.
And we do sunset, like a beer sunset, but instead it's gonna be a flower sunset.
Let's do it.
I like it.
I already. It's already on me. Trademark.
Okay.
I do have some questions though, and more curiosity than questions. But
okay.
I would have guessed that most of our people that are listening understand about breeding flowers and know the breeders' names and stuff, but they don't understand or know the day-to-day, what happens on a daily basis. So, your boss says, okay, we came out with this new beautiful pen. This new pen, and we need to sell 80 million of these pens this year, and each one of you have your area of representation, and you go and you start knocking on the doors to the growers, right? You knock on the door to the grower and you say, hey, grower, I got these pens. And the grower says, okay, give me some and I'll test it, right? And he tests it for what? 6 months, a year, depending on what it is, before they make a decision, right?
But you know what? It doesn't work out that way that much. Let me explain it so it can be more.
Yeah, I want to know. Everybody wants to know. How does it work? How does it get played? How do you sell this pen?
Before we get the pen, we'll get what the material, the seed or the TC cuttings or the bulbs, right? So before we get the pen, we do our own trial station, so that we make sure first that the variety works. If it's something that...
And do you have a testing facility in every country?
We have
in South America and also in Europe? Well, how do you do it?
Well, Ball Hort has testing facility in over 25 countries. All over the world. But,
so it might work in one country, but it don't work in another.
Exactly. So that's why we have the different testing facilities in the main cut flower countries like Ecuador, Colombia, Kenya, the Netherlands. It might not be under Ball, but also under Pan American Seed, which is a breeding company for Ball Horticulture. So they do the trials of Dahlias in the Netherlands, and we're also doing testing in Colombia, and we're also doing testing in Ecuador to see if they need light or they do not need light, or more shade, or because the weather in the Netherlands, it's colder, then they put heat or not heat. So we test them under each of the countries' different atmosphere and scenarios, right? And then it can work in Kenya, but it doesn't work in Colombia or in the Netherlands. So depending on how it's grown, or it can work in the Netherlands, but you have to put a little bit more water or a little bit more shade or lighting, whatever. So we test it like that. Once we know how to grow a variety in each of the market, then we start bringing clients in, the farms, and we're like, hey, how do you like it? And they're like, I like it or not. And we're like, but it's really nice. You need to try it. And they're like, okay, send me some seeds. Or some cuttings or the material. I'm gonna give you one bed so we can do the trial, just one bed. And once they see that it started working, they're like, okay, I'm gonna do a bigger trial. And we're like, oh, hold on, we ran out of seeds. Or because seeds, you also have to like program it and ask for enough inventory. And like, oh, I cannot give you that until 2025 because we ran out of cuttings. Our labs did not came up with the propagation on time, or it got a virus and we got discarded. We had to discard all the material. We started from zero again. So a lot of things can happen in nature, right? Let's assume that let's say that we do have the seeds or the cuttings. So they do a bigger trial and they started seeing if the variety is productive, if it's not productive, if it comes to their target cost. The majority are bouquet makers. So they have to see if, let's say this Craspedia right here. Let's say this Craspedia right here. It's a small flower, right? You cannot sell it. You cannot sell it at 50 cents. So if everything that they do at the farm is gonna cost them 50 cents, they're like, no, Carmen, it's too difficult to produce it, so we're not gonna try it. Even though I can tell them, hey, you know what? The floor said they'll pay the 50 cents, but they're the ones doing their final decisions. And then we might have material, but just for one farm. So only we can say that they have the exclusivity, but it's not really exclusivity. It's that they bought all the material. And then farm B and farm C, they'll just have to wait until we get more material. And that's why sometimes you see a flower with just one farm for the first 2 years. And then afterwards it's getting more popular. We're getting more material done and everybody's happy. Takes a long time. That's probably...
Yeah, that's a process. And it's a lot of just what ifs and just depending on the farms and variables like that.
So risky.
Yes, because we cannot start with a lot of cuttings or seeds from get-go, because what about if they don't want it anymore? Then we lose a lot of material. And it's not like going to the factory and say, hey, give me 5,000 units of, I don't know, margarine. It's not that easy.
But are sales getting easier for these products because of all the diversification by different growers?
It is for the ones who are already diversified. I think it's getting tougher because they have a lot of crops they want to try. But for those who are starting diversification, let's say a rose farm, rose farms are getting into a lot of diversifications, and those are the ones who are quickly putting up new programs. Like if I want to have a new variety, I go to the grower. Hey, do you want to grow it? And they're like, yes, I want it.
Do you have like favorites that you call first? Do you have like your channel of people that you like go to with all the new stuff every time, or do you like to spread it around small, medium, and large groups?
Well, it depends on how the varieties are. Like if it's something really strategic, the management team, they want to focus on the big ones, because if one of those big ones put it in, then we're sold for the next 3 years, because it takes about 10, I know this is unfair, but it takes about 10 or 15 farms to fill up what one big one can do. So we start with the big ones, and then we start with the small ones. Unfortunately, that's how it works.
That's a pretty common strategy by the breeders. But, as a small grower, Jeff Fresh, as a small grower, a lot of times we feel left out. We feel like we're not a member of the club, so to speak, because the breeders are not focused on the small growers. They're focused on the big one, and rightly so, because they're going to get the biggest amount of money in one person and one time. But I also have to ask, like, long term, how do these smaller growers get some of this brand new stuff so they can grow into tomorrow's big grower? And that's a problem, because the bigger growers gobble up all that you can do. And although a small boutique farm would like to have some growth in the future, sometimes they can't, because they don't have access to legal material. There's plenty of access to illegal material, but there's not much access to legal material for small growers. And a lot of times, like what happens, I guess, mainly in roses, I would guess, is that the black market blossoms from that strategy that the breeders have with the big groups. Does that make any sense?
But
I don't know.
Is there like an alliance with the breeders, like people who are, that farm is like a black market farm, you know what I mean, or something like that? No?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Well, sometimes we do know. We do know which farms are illegal, so we try. We cannot sell to those farms. It will put us in a difficult situation, right?
The next morning after we bought our farm, the breeders' representatives were there to count the plants
for the royalties.
Yeah, well, to make sure that those varieties that were on that farm had a license, and they were paid royalties. Yeah. And there was some not registered plants on our farm, and we had to take them out or we had to pay. We had a choice.
And what did you do?
A combination of both.
Okay.
Most breeders were very, very friendly with us and very nice with us, and for the most part, and actually helped us get through that problem, because we already paid for them to the person that we bought the farm from.
Right.
So we really didn't want to pay for it twice. Right. We really didn't want to pay for it twice. So, but in some cases, we wanted to keep the varieties, and we worked something out with the breeders. And breeders are very fair. They're very fair for the most part. There are some that are not.
No, we are flexible. We know of some farms that we found the varieties, and we're like, hey, you know what? Let's make a plan. And let's make it work, because you were one of the clients, and we appreciate the business. So let's work it out. I don't think there's a necessity to start putting anybody on the edge.
No, but it exists. It's out there. And I just feel like especially like I would say mostly with roses. I don't really know much about other flowers, but there's you guys sell stock, right? Stock
Yes,
is one of your items, right?
that's one of the ones who gets the most illegal flowering.
I got one right. So we went to visit. We went to visit last year Christmas time. Fernando was with me. We were in Ecuador. We went to visit this farm that we've been buying stock from.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got to the farm, we realized that it really wasn't a farm. It was a community. There was 7 or 8 small homes with a small greenhouse next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And all 7, and this is all in the same town. And these people were producing the stock independently and then bringing it to one central post-harvest, and they had somebody doing all the sales and exportation from that one. So it's a cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
It was a co-op of 7 or 8 small growers living in the same area, producing right behind their homes stock. And, we went in there and we said, well, this is not really that great because they didn't have proper refrigeration.
Well, I remember in Ecuador, like people like showing us brochures and stuff for roses that had varieties on it that obviously they weren't paying the royalties, but they were like showing it off, like they were proud to have those varieties. So like, I wonder even if the growers seem to not know about the rules as well.
So there was a sign before you went up the escalator 2 years ago in Ecuador. There was a sign before you went up the escalator: "Don't buy illegal toffee."
Yeah.
Toffee roast.
And it had the 4 breeders or the 4 logos of the farms on it.
Right. These are the only guys that have it. Right. Right at the beginning of the escalator, there was a guy handing out business cards saying, "I have toffee."
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well,
Crazy.
those
So,
breeders have worked a lot for that, so they still need to get recognized for it.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
Oh, absolutely.
Unfortunately, I think sometimes the exclusivities and the small exclusive clubs that are allowed to produce a certain variety, mainly as far as I'm concerned in Ecuador, roses specifically, backfires a little bit because somehow those people get that material and they produce. We had somebody come into our farm in the back of the farm when we first put in a new variety, and it disappeared overnight.
Why? Somebody stole the material?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Swam across a river to do it.
Yeah.
Swam across a river.
You gotta be careful on where you put your novelties for that. So it doesn't happen.
That's funny.
I think a lot of times that's an inside job, A lot of times somebody knows something that's going on.
And at our trial stations, we have to be very careful. Every time that some customer or client or whoever works there, we cannot give out samples of everything, just certain things.
Yeah.
What about the competition nature of the breeding? Like, are 2 breeders trying to develop the same thing at the same time, and they're fighting for market share on that product? Does that happen?
Yes. Take an example. I have 2 in my mind with 2 different breeding companies. So I've talked to you guys before about the polar bear. That's a Gyp with a big size, very wide, and we're trying to get our friends to plant it more in Ecuador, especially, well, in Kenya as well, because we know you guys or everybody know who I'm talking about with a very excellent flower, right? So they have the market leadership.
Nice.
They have the market leadership, and we're like, hey, you know what? Let's open up with new breeding or lower royalties or whatever. Or just talk about, hey, how good the flower is. And the farm now has a choice on for them to really see what works for them the best. And that's where we come in. That's one variety. And then there's another one, our punky ball or the green ball. There is another breeder that also has a kind of kiwi kind of thing going around. So that's where we're competing head to head with varieties that are for the regular eye are identical to anybody who doesn't know about flowers, even to us. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know which one is which is good.
Does that give your customers more negotiating power when there's two breeders competing for basically the same product? Do the growers use that as a negotiating?
The variety has to speak for itself. The variety has to, whether it's more productive, where it has mortality rate, whether the cycles are shorter, that's all savings. Or if the cycles are too long, they're like, hey, yours take 2 weeks longer in the field. That is going to cost me X amount of money to produce it, so I cannot have it that way. The variety has to speak for itself.
That's just like the Olympics. Back to the Olympics. So I was watching the Olympics and they were saying that all these people, the same people that are competing, like, all these different countries, they all go and eat together at the same lunch table. They're all friendly. You guys all sat there at SAF Next Gen, sitting there next to each other. You guys are all friends. And it's so crazy. And in the end, just like you said, it speaks for themselves. Like they go out there, they compete, and you guys are doing the same exact thing.
And that's the beauty about this industry. Last week I was in Boise and I was with my friends from Dassinger. I was with my friends from Deliflor. I was with my friends from Dumen Orange, and it was us. And we're all having drinks at the bar, but we don't discuss about flowers or what our customers like. But we help each other. We're like, hey, are you alone here? Let's go eat. We're all friends at the end.
Yeah.
And we see at every single show as well. So let's have a healthy competition. Let the variety speak for itself. The customer choose whatever they want. There's no need to start stepping or putting rocks in the road. We're not like that. We're very happy.
Rocky Road.
Carmen,
so there's a road here, Ryan, called Rocky Road. There's a road here on the lake called Rocky Road.
That sounds like a good road. Right to the ice cream store. Carmen, are you in charge of, do you have any say in the names? Do you have any say in the naming of the product?
Yes, I do.
You do.
The ones that we breed, we do. So when we were breeding moms, that was the hardest one because every year we had about 20 different selections. And we're like, okay, so this pink, what does it resemble to you? And they start Piggy or Kitty or whatever name that comes to their mind.
Right.
So we got rid of that program, and on the ones that we are doing, it's like, okay, so let's call it a series.
Yeah.
And then it's easy just to put like a second last name to the series. So for Astromerias right now, we have the Amankai series, and we're like, okay, let's call this Amankai Tangerine or Amankai Apple Blossom or Lychee, because if not, crazy, and next year it's going to be discarded or not discarded. So we try to do that. And then we have a naming committee, which is R&D, product management, and myself. We're like, okay, how about this name? Oh, no, I don't like it. Oh, I like it. So and then we come up with a name and we take it to the customer and they're like, oh, I don't like that name. Can you change it? Dude, we're the ones baptizing them, not you.
Does Ball represent other breeders as well as breed themselves?
Yes. For instance, we represent Miyoshi. It's a Japanese Delphinium breeder. And that's where the Delphinium Sunshine comes, the Delphinium Waltz comes. We represent Sakata for sunflowers. We represent Taki for Lisianthus and sunflowers. And they'll have different distributors. And some of them, we are the only distributor for the region.
Is Glockner part of
Ball bought Glockner.
Yeah, because I know Glockner represented Sakata. So that's how you got that. I see.
No, that Sakata is a breeder that does not have exclusivities. So it's we have competitors in Colombia that also are distributing the same sunflower, for instance. So then again, it's all about the service. Hey, we help you with this, and that, or we have inventory, or we don't have inventory. And at the end, the growers who choose who to buy from.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Do you know the great Marvin Miller?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So
he's got a lot of stories.
So Mimi introduced me to Marvin Miller at SAF, I think 2 years ago, right?
in Arizona.
Yeah, in Arizona. But it was actually Carmen who gave us the inside with Marvin. So we have Carmen to thank for Marvin.
Okay.
Because
Thank you,
Carmen, we had asked for information on your grandfathers, and she said, let me introduce you to somebody who can really help. And Marvin was the one. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you so much. Ball, right? Yeah, he was talking about.
So apparently, ball seed or ball hort has an operation in West Grove, Pennsylvania, that used to be my grandfather's rose greenhouses, and it's still there today. I didn't have any idea about that. I was told the story about they sold the land to the electric company.
Had you ever been there before when you were little?
Yeah.
So if you went there now, would you recognize it?
No, but I remember running. I have like this thing in my head where I remember running through one of the greenhouses. I also remember they had this they had in a barn, this old, the gas pumps that you see with the big tubes on the top of it. Mm-hmm. That you see them in like
old movies.
Jay Leno's garage and stuff. Yeah, you see them on TV. They had one, and I had that visual. I had that visual of that gas pump. So that's all I remember. Nothing else.
Maybe you should go visit next year. Ball has their customers' days, and that's where our headquarters is in West Chicago, and it's a huge field filled all with garden plants, and it's called the Customer Days. It's like going.
No, this is in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yours is in Pennsylvania.
West Grove, Pennsylvania, which is the mushroom capital of the world. They grow more mushrooms in West Grove, Pennsylvania.
Lots of fun guys there.
Fun fact about West Grove.
What kind of mushrooms? The good ones or the other ones?
I would guess nowadays it's a mix of all kinds.
Nice.
I don't know.
You ever had the gummies? I don't know. Have you had the gummies or the chocolates?
The mushroom ones?
Yeah.
I took them to Proflora. Like they're not illegal, but they're
like the lion's mane.
Lion's mane, yeah. And they do work. They really do. They do give you energy. It's like drinking coffee. A lot of people, my mom drinks lion's mane coffee. It's mushroom coffee now.
I got the other kind of gummies.
Oh yeah, yours are the different ones. You might see something floating.
That's why he gets all inspired.
Exactly.
I don't know. I've never done you got to take 12 to do that. Like if you just take a couple, it's like taking a couple shots or something like that. Just kind of takes the edge off.
Chill.
Yeah, it's a good vibe. It's not I'm never tripping or anything like that.
Carmen, I thought that about Ryan before too. But no, it's like the inspiration would just be from an espresso or a trip outside, or it's all day inspiration. Right. Now the levels might be different, but there's always inspiration.
Well, nice, Ryan. Nice. You don't need anything else to be creative.
It's not a need. It's just it doesn't hurt.
Well, if you got the chance to go to the customers' days, go. It's very nice. Next year, always around this time of year.
Do you have a favorite show or presentation that Ball does? That's one that's
that you won't miss. Like you're like, I'm not missing Horti Fair, or I'm not missing Proflora or
let me think. The one that I really enjoy, Proflora is nice. Mm-hmm. Proflora is nice, and the one at the Netherlands. I get to go and see the countryside afterwards. It's nice weather.
Beautiful.
It's nice. I like those two.
Do you have something?
At least to see it every year.
Right. Do you have something fun planned for Ecuador this year, or not yet?
Oh, I don't know yet. I haven't started planning it.
What?
I already know that is the only thing I know is the design.
Well, that's all of it. That's half of it, I think.
But you guys always have fun stuff.
Yeah, no, that's why I was
And your
wondering.
displays are always so gorgeous, and you guys are working tirelessly till the end, like at SAF, always
It's never just one display.
No,
they have
it's
the entrance,
yes,
and there's also the booth, and there's the farm. There's always so much to plan.
I have a good team. I have my good team that I always travel with. Christina, that was there with you. With the flower truck, because she's my to-go person. I take her to Ecuador, the States, the Netherlands, and she was asking me, "Oh, am I gonna go to Kenya?" I'm like, "No, you didn't get to that one."
Just missed the cut.
You know what? You're probably right. It's not so much the show; it's more like who you were with and how it flows, right? Like when you're traveling. Right. To me, that's what it is. It's who's with you, who's gonna help. Like sometimes you won't have people that don't help or people who don't. I like to go to shows with Mike because he shares his meals with me, so then I don't feel so like such a glutton.
Is that the only reason?
That's the only reason.
No,
Yeah, that's all you get.
well,
Jeez.
there is a big con about going to shows with you, Mike.
He pays for everything.
No,
No,
the con is that he
Yes, he does.
talks to everything. Oh yeah,
Well, yeah,
of course
but-
you do. But you like he talks to everybody, and everybody
It's like
wants to
going
talk
with
to
the
him.
prom queen.
Exactly. So then you're stuck at the one like it takes you forever. So my feet can't handle. Now I know. From now on, I'm wearing sneakers with Mike.
Hmm.
Good to go. Just buy one of those flashy ones, so you'll go with your outfit.
The thing is, it's like a car. The gas, it's a stop and go. That's when you waste the most gas. That's when you get the most tired. For me, like at the shows,
you need the pants that turn into chair. That turns into a chair, so you can just sit down.
No,
whenever you
yeah,
want.
him and Juanita are really bad.
But she wears the heels. She
No,
don't care.
She wears the heels and she's crying though afterwards.
You always have to wear sneakers.
Yeah.
There's no way boots. There's no way you can wear high heels. That's
Especially
fun.
if
I
you don't
have
wear
to
them
pay.
every day.
Yeah.
You just bring them out just for the show. It's always a rookie move.
Yeah, people bring them out just for the show, and they're hurting at the end of the day. I feel bad sometimes. I see some of the ladies just struggling to walk.
Especially those Colombia
Not
Ecuador
necessary.
shows. They don't end.
Oh, because they're
those shows
huge.
don't end.
They're huge. That's where you really see like the power. I think like the how big our industry is when you see those shows.
Yeah.
Those are huge. Yeah.
Carmen, was
No,
there?
that's why you can always stay at the venue. So if you get tired, you can just go to your room and change shoes.
That's
Smart.
the move.
That's why I like the SAF show too, right? Like that one's nice because you
Right.
can go upstairs and change.
Yeah, that's smart. And there was
Yeah.
nice rooms.
And if
Carmen-
you get bored, you can just go and have a quick nap.
Mm.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
I've never napped at a show.
No,
I've never had
no.
a
It's just we had so much fun the night before, whatever, and just gotta take a quick nap.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
having a lot of
I
fun.
like it that it's in Miami. I could just go home.
Yeah, exactly.
See?
Come
He's
back
even worse.
tomorrow.
He goes back to his home.
Yeah, that's what we would do.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like that's harder.
It's harder. Yeah, it's definitely easier to just pop in the elevator
True.
and just go upstairs.
Trust me,
and
I don't
relax.
like when the shows are in Miami because then I'm stuck like between I have show life like and then mom life like it's or having to do all that.
You
and
can't
it's
get
just,
out of mom duty.
Exactly. You go
when you're in
home and they're
Miami.
like, well, I still have homework. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just spent the whole day, at a show. Okay, then we go to do all that stuff. And then it's like, no, I prefer.
Mimi, you should stay at the hotel then. Tell them, hey, I'm in a business trip, so I gotta go.
This time I'm
Yeah.
staying.
She's staying.
This
No,
time
she's
I'm
staying.
staying for a couple days. So yeah, I need to because I'm at the outstanding varieties rooms and I have to be there early and be there late.
So you-
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'll see you.
Maybe they'll visit you. Maybe they'll come to your room.
That's what I think they're
Mom,
hoping.
we need help with our homework.
Sounds like she just gets back after finishing the tables of the
they're
OVC, and then she gets a knock on the door thinking it's room service, and it's them.
No. I'll be like, nope, not Mimi. Sorry.
Wrong
You'll
room.
put the do not disturb sign
That's the
outside her door.
I'll put Carmen's room number outside.
There'll be no kids. This is not your mom.
We should make do not disturb signs for their show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next gen.
Yeah.
See? Look,
See?
the inspirations all day.
All day.
I know, right? I was gonna say, Ryan.
Well, you
says
guys, it's
wait-
your idea. I'm just stealing it now. You said
Carmen,
it.
what's the one variety that we all need to be waiting for? What's the one thing that's coming out from Ball that's maybe even being tested right now that we need to be on high alert with big expectation? Who's the new big baby coming out of there?
Mike, the one that I showed you in the truck, the Ageratum, the one that we
Mhm.
talked about, Ageratum
Yeah.
JG. It's a fluffy purple with a umbrella branching very nicely. I don't know, everybody wants it, and we're
Yeah.
doing trials all over the place, and they're like, "Ooh, how quick can we get it?" And it has
And that ageratum has been bred to be tolerant to the cold because I know field ageratum cannot really be refrigerated very well.
No, I made it. It made it all the way to Idaho
it does.
last week. And
Awesome.
it went dry pack because I forgot to put them in wet pack. So I got them dry pack. Rookie mistake.
What did you do in Idaho last week?
We were presenting to Albertsons and
Ah,
the new varieties. Well, only took 5. I only had to show 5. And Albertsons, all their regional divisions were walking by the vendors and choosing next year's varieties. So for Mother's Day, Valentine's, summer, they were choosing from the different suppliers.
So all the breeders went to Idaho for Albertsons, and Albertsons, just 4 breeders went to Idaho for Albertsons together with the growers or independently?
Growers, bouquet makers, everybody. It was a big show last week. You had to be invited, right?
It was Albertsons show.
Uh-huh.
It was an Albertsons show.
Yes,
so
it was
Albertsons can literally go to their suppliers and say, hey, I saw this stuff at Ball and that's what I want. I want you to grow it for me. It's got to be in my bouquets next year.
Several supermarkets, like the HEB show is a huge show as well. Like they just take up a big space and then everybody sets up booth there.
Exactly. So the ones who, like, I got 2 or 3 different vendors saying, like, do you know if we're already growing this in our farm? Because they're the commercial teams.
Right.
They don't know what's happening at the farms.
Right.
And I'm like, yes or nay. And if it was a nay, I'm like, you better start asking your farm for it because you saw everybody wanted it.
Yeah.
If not, they were going to be left behind.
That's good.
So that's what we do.
That's the good part. You're like, everybody's going to want a piece. Like, you know, like the growers are going to see how they're reacting. So you're doing marketing all over there.
Yeah.
And Mike, and there's where the small farms comes in because those are the ones who can put it in very quick.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger ones take longer time.
Yeah.
And there's where you can get your sourcing for them.
Makes sense. She was saying that show, the vendors wait outside. They don't man their tables. They have to wait outside until they're called on.
They get called in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah. Supermarkets are too big. They're huge. They don't want anybody selling them.
They want to take their time, see the things, and if they see something that caught their eye, then they call you in.
What if you don't get called in?
For 4 days.
It's like, what's behind door number 1?
Yeah.
You know, it's like a mystery. You don't know.
And if you go down, because it was in an arena, if you go down to your show to see how the flowers are doing, then you get, they kick you out. They're like, you're not supposed to be down here. Go outside. We'll call you. I'm like, I'm just flowering. I'm just putting water to the flowers because they got dehydrated or whatever. So they can do that. That must be nice to have that power, that much power, right?
Right.
How many stores does Albertsons have? Do you know?
Oof.
I think 4,500.
4,500.
Who's got the most in the country?
So Ryan, do the math.
Kroger.
Albertsons has 4,500 stores, and if they say, okay, I want 2 boxes to every store,
9,000.
just 2 boxes.
According to my
2
abacus,
boxes every
9,000.
store. Yeah, 9,000. But I'm saying, like, it's such a small order per store, but it's such a big order.
That's a huge order, yeah. And just logistically.
For any bouquet company.
Yeah.
Wow.
I agree.
The
No,
math
I'm
is
sorry.
crazy.
I lied. I just looked it up. It's 2,253.
Even still, that's
Yeah. But the
so
top
far beyond what I can comprehend.
The
That's
top
so-
10 are Walmart, Kroger, which is big in flowers too, Costco, Albertsons is number 4, Ahold, 6 is Publix, 7 is HEB, but HEB quality is ridiculous. Amazon now too, and yeah, it keeps going.
Nice.
Carmen, was there
So-
anything that we didn't get to talk about that you wanted to bring up?
No, I think we talked about shows. We talked about how long it takes for us to do breeding and appreciate what we do to you with you guys to show it. And if you like it, we're always there to help out. And, thank you guys too, because we are the reason, you guys are the reason we are there. You can help us market our varieties and put it in the market way faster than we do it if we do it by ourselves.
Happy to help out.
Yeah.
Thank you for the flowers.
So we have some questions for you.
Yeah, we end each episode with rapid fire questions. So just give us your gut response answers, okay? Don't think about it too hard.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
What is the best sandwich?
A Cuban sandwich.
Nice. What is your favorite flower?
Dahlias.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To eat everything I want without gaining weight.
Mind you, listeners,
Respect.
and
Respect.
I have to say, if you see Carmen
Great
at any
answer.
show, she's the sweetest thing in the world. So she just go ahead and say hi to her. But she's so tiny. So
It's because she got out of the ice cream business. That
I
was the
know.
move.
She left with the margin.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, Ryan. We checked into a Holiday Inn Express in Canada, and Casey was all excited because they had Dove soap in the shower.
Guy knows quality.
So you get a little plug for UniLever there. You know,
Yeah, I know, right? Their sales team did a good job there, huh? It's hard to get into big
Hotel
what,
chains,
hotel
yeah.
Yeah,
chains
I imagine so.
Well,
Especially now,
Casey
you need
Black
to have
approves.
something like
because it doesn't have
artsy.
the cheap cost.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Okay, what is the most overrated flower?
I don't know. That one you caught me.
What about underrated flower?
Underrated flower?
One that deserves.
I think the
one love.
Dianthus, like the green ball, funky balls. They look at it as a filler, and it's very nice round ball.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm.
Okay, what's the scariest animal?
Gorillas.
That's a first one.
Nice choice. Have you encountered gorillas before?
No,
Just-
in September.
she
September.
will
yeah.
soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I will soon.
Yeah, we need to re-ask her this question in September when she sees all the animals.
Whenever
I
you
know.
see Carmen, you got to greet her like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What else? Come on.
If you could pick a movie or TV character to have lunch with, who would it be?
Tom Cruise with You Got Me a Hello. With
Oh.
Jerry Maguire.
Uh-huh.
Jerry Maguire, yes.
Yeah, okay. Show me the money. Nice.
Show me the money.
What is
Absolutely.
your go-to drunk food?
Junk food, pizza.
No, drunk.
Junk food,
Borracha.
cake.
Ah, dessert cake. Nice choice.
Are you a sweet?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's a sweets person. Mhm.
What flavor?
Right. Whatever, chocolate maybe.
Okay.
That's an easy go-to.
Did I forget any?
And if anybody wants to reach out to you, how would they be able to get to you?
What's up? Easiest way.
WhatsApp. Okay. And then could you suggest a future guest for the show, for the podcast?
Someone fun like me.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm Melanie Spielberg. I don't know
Yeah,
if she has already.
Melanie's never been on as a
she hasn't
single
been
guest.
her solo episode. She's
Yeah.
been on in a group setting, but yeah, that's a good one. She's
I
got a lot
love
to talk about.
Melanie. Yeah,
She's fun.
Melanie. Yeah, she's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
She's my hanging out person too at the shows. If nobody else is there, I'm like, Melanie, are you here yet?
That's a
She's
good
like,
spot.
okay.
She's very nice.
Yes. So that's someone who needs to be there.
Well, thank you, Carmen. We appreciate you joining us on the podcast.
Can't wait to see you next week.
Sorry you didn't get the
Yeah.
full fatty treatment with Fern, but
I know.
it's
Hey, we
close
can
enough.
have a beer if he's gonna be there next week. We can all have a beer or at the bar or something,
Oh,
right?
that's something Fern would love. Fern will love that.
Yeah, you don't have to twist his arm.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you very much for being with us. Thanks for all you do for the industry. Thanks
Yeah.
for being a great advocate for the flower industry and making those very serious investments into traveling around and showing what's next, what's coming down the pipe, because everybody needs to be educated and we need
Our
people.
pleasure. That's what we do. That makes
Great
us happy.
job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great job.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers. Fern, we miss you. Ryan, Mimi, Mike, Carmen.
Carmen.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Thank
Have a
you
great day.
guys. Have a good one.
All right.